In the summer, I sometimes volunteer as a camp counselor leader at a summer camp for youth, some of whom are troubled. Last summer, we had a kid who got random fits of rage. He would take it out on anything he could. We later found out he had hid his meds from the staff nurse because he came on the bus without any guardians. Obviously, this withdrawal had major side effects. His fits started to get more and more extreme, and one day, during the daily nap time, he erupted at full force and decided breaking everything he could and ran out of the cabin. And I was sadly the only person there at the time due to a staff meeting that was occurring. I called another cabin leader who was in the cabin next to ours, and he ran out to find the camper because at this point my whole cabin is about 10 kids. We're panicking and worried, so I felt uncomfortable leaving him alone. During and after the fit, a few of my heavier sleepers stayed asleep, and about 5 minutes later, one of them woke up crying and screaming. Most young boys have a sort of pride issue with crying in front of other boys at their age, so he asked if he could talk to me along in the cabin's porch. I agreed and walked him out, telling the other campers to try to get back to sleep. He ended up telling me that he was having a nightmare about a skeleton. He didn't say much else about the dream because that wasn't the bad part. The bad part was that he ended up describing to me what was essentially sleep paralysis. I told him about it, and he had no idea what it was and was begging me to call his mom and to come get him because he said he felt like something was there trying to get him. I ended up researching sleep paralysis with him and showed him everything I could to assure him that nothing was out to get him and explained the science behind it. Here's where it gets weird and still freaks me out to this day. We later had a staff meeting for those who missed the earlier one, and I found out that while all of this was happening, another camp, boys' cabin, and a girls' cabin on the other side of the camp, each had a camper wake up with sleep paralysis, both describing different nightmares, both having to do with the skeleton. I also later had found out that the cabin leader who had went looking for our runaway camper had found him in a grove of trees talking what he called gibberish, and he was hitting a stick against a tree. We called his parents, who explained his situation in more detail, and we found out about him hiding the meds, and we got him calmed down. The rest of the week went smoothly. After he left, we ended up finding a small drawing pad we had seen him using throughout the weeks with very strange drawings in it. Nothing like anything. There wasn't anything graphic or anything that was threatening, but for some reason it just seemed unsettling to us all, almost like the drawings extremely young children do when they scribble. We called his parents and we offered to ship it to them, but they said they didn't want it. A more skeptical cabin leader ended up burning it because of the situations that happened in the week. I don't really get scared by supernatural stuff, but this was honestly the weirdest, scariest thing I ever seen my entire life, and I wouldn't even believe it had I not witnessed it myself, and the horror in everyone's faces that were involved.